Yeah.
No, black and white I don't use. I always did from color photography. And since now it's all digital, well, that's a big help. Because I remember one time I was in England for a family, for children, with still the analog photography. I had to go to the local photo shop to develop my pictures before I could travel back to Spain. I had to see the results. Nowadays with your camera you can see what you've done, and in the end of the session you're sure that you have the good material, so that's pretty much easier.
You haven't said anything about tone in relation to the difference between photographs and drawing from life.
Yeah, well, tone and color, exactly. Tone is also a thing that photography can be misleading in tone. After painting from life, I usually make a picture of the model and then see what I was doing, and I sometimes I'm surprised to see how the difference is from the light that I'm used to see when I'm painting from life, and then I see the photo. So tones are also, well, you know, it's a picture, it's a photograph. Lights will be lighter, darks will be darker. You don't see all these interpretations you see when you do from life.
So people on YouTube who object to photographs being used, how much do they know of art history?
Yeah, I really wonder. There are two things, you know, when they criticize you, you want to know how good they are. On the other hand, they have the right to criticize. And what also you have to think of is it's internet, you know, people can drop every word that they want on internet. So I don't want to enter in this thread, you know, I never respond to them. So why should I?
And what use do you personally make of technology in your own work?
Well, for portrait commissions you really have to rely on photography, because you can't do without. I can't do without.
And what is your motivation for teaching?
I want to teach because I had a hard time to collect all the information. As a draftsman I had my education, but as a painter I'm self-made. And I bought books and I tried to talk to people, but it was a hard way. And well, one day you think, now after all these years I've gathered so much information, why not show what I was looking for by that time? So maybe that's the main reason. I want to share what I know now, because for me it was pretty difficult way back when.
And do you get feedback from your teaching?
People write me every now and then, what should I do here, what should I do there, what colors. Some people ask stupid questions, some people ask questions that I think, well, that's a clever question, maybe my next tutorial will be with these questions.
To use words like good and better means that you have an idea of what it is to be a good portrait painter. You have an idea of your goal. How would you define what this is?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. What is a good and a bad portrait? You have your examples as a good painter. My examples for Sorolla, Singer Sargent, Velázquez and more. These people explain me the way to go. But teaching, for some students, the goal is to get applause from aunts and uncles. And I try to explain, well, that's cheap applause, try to get better. But the question is, people struggle with the idea, what should I paint? Should I paint hyper-realistic or more impressionistic? I can't help people there, because that's what is in you. The only thing is what I can explain. And I heard it Julio Reyes saying on internet, don't try to be original, try to be authentic. And people have to think of that. what is the end? What is a good portrait? For me, always the good portrait is the next one. The next one will be better than the one you're painting. But sometimes you are surprised that you see a painting that you did 10 years ago without knowing so much and say, well, hopefully I can repeat that.